Okay, so the next one, the next item, what we want to do is we want to format the font so it looks like this, right? So let's get started. So I guess the first thing we're going to do is going to hop onto W3 Schools, go to CSS3, and read up on your fonts. Okay, so read up all the stuff about fonts. It's a really cool and interesting, a really great lesson to read here. Now, once you familiarize yourself with fonts, we're ready to dive in and do it. Go to your Notepad++, okay, and the question is, like, where do we put the font? We want the font to apply to not just the table, okay. So not just this table here, but we want it to apply to basically the entire document from here all the way down to the very end here. If we want, we could apply the font to the table and the paragraph, but not the links. If we really want to, we can apply the font to just this one here, and these 4 lines here, and this one here, and that's it. So we could really do whatever we want. Okay, and we could also embed the font right inside the HTML file. But if you refer back to the, one of the beginning videos, you'll understand that you know, it's a better idea to separate the content, which is the index file. It defines what content is being shown, what the text is, what pictures and what videos are going to be on the page, and to separate that from the styling, which is what we're going to do. So because we want the font to apply to the entire body, okay, we're going to attach it to the body tag here. So you notice that there's 3 ways now of attaching CSS from the HTML file to the CSS file. Number 1, we use the ID tag. And when we use the ID tag, we have to use the number sign to start. Okay. The second way, we use a class tag. When we use a class tag, we use a dot. Okay, down here, dot table text. Alright. The third way is we can apply CSS to the all the tags. So in this case here, anything defined between this bracket and this bracket will be applied to the body tag. In an HTML document, there can only be one body tag. So if we want, we could have an ID or a class here, but there's really no point because there's only one body tag. It's pretty simple just to attach it to that one. So after going through the tutorial, you should know what font family is. So I'm going to go font family. Alright, now I need to choose a property, or sorry, this is the property, font family. Now I need to choose a value. What font do I want? Now what I want you to do now is open a new browser window, do a Google search for W3, or sorry, site w3schools.com, Websafe fonts. Okay, so if you look at Websafe fonts here, okay, these are Websafe fonts. What is a Websafe font? A Websafe font means that it's a font that is very likely that the computer browsing your web page will have that font. The fonts are not embedded in the web page. Fonts are located on the computer. All right. So when you load a web page, all right, whether your computer can display the font that the web designer wants you to see depends on if that font is located in your computer, which depends on if your computer is up to date. For grandma and grandpa using a 12-year-old machine, that may not be the case. Okay, so these are fonts that are safest to use in practically any situation, or in practically any browser. So I'm gonna just choose one. I'm gonna choose. Let's see here. How about this one? This one sounds kind of cool. So I'm gonna just copy this text here, and I'm gonna go into here. I'm going to paste it in here and put a semicolon at the end. Okay, so this whole huge thing here is my property, or sorry, is my value, okay, to the font family property. So I'm going to save it, come back to here, and now watch the font. I want to refresh it. Okay, the font changed. Beautiful. All right. Now, what I want to do is in the next line, I want to define the line height and letter spacing. And again, go to CSS3 here, okay, go to reference, okay, go to look for font. That little down, a little arrow. There you go. Okay, and let's go. See line height. Okay. Font family. Oh, there it is. Okay, so look for the font line height. It's here somewhere. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go font. Sorry, I found it. It's right here. It's going to be in line height here, okay, and letter spacing. So we're going to define these two here, line height, okay, and go back one, and letter spacing. All right. So we're going to go font, go line dash height. I'm going to make this one 35 pixels. All right, and letter dash spacing, and make it 1 pixel. Alright, so again, property and value. Now let's go back to our HTML document, refresh it, and see what that does. Now, when you're learning this kind of programming stuff, you need to experiment, try different things. Alright, so go back to here and make this, I don't know, 3 pixels, and make the letter spacing 10 pixels, and see what that does. Go back to here, refresh it. It does kind of what we expected to do. You notice here that the CSS applies to both the table formatting and the links. All right, so it applies to the table, okay, all the stuff in here, okay, as well as the links. And that's because we applied the CSS styling to the body tag, the entire body tag. Okay, so let's change this back to what it was before. Oops. Alright, and it looks like that. Now personally, I'm going to take a risk. This is not a Websafe font, but I like it, so I'm going to use my own font here. So instead of a Websafe font, I'm going to decide on my own accord to use my fancy font. So I'm going to, that font is called Monotype. Monotype. Can't type. Okay, Monotype Cursiva. Alright, so and click in here and watch the font. There we go. Alright, this is pretty close to what I want to do. So so go through the CSS about referenceable fonts, read about Websafe fonts. Alright, but I'm going to show you very quickly a couple of the more useful properties. Okay, so one of them is font size. So font dash size. Alright, I'm going to go large. Right, that's pretty obvious. So makes it a little bit bigger. Alright, and then in the CSS reference, have a look at font, which is right here. Font size. Okay, you can see all your different values. Oops, sorry. I guess the next most obvious usable property is to color your font. So I'm going to leave mine that color, but I just want to show you what that property looks like anyways. Alright. There, here we go. Okay, so that looks like this. So I'm going to go color. Again, make sure you use American. I'm going to go black. No, use, I'm going to go white. Okay, so it defaults to black. There. Okay, it does exactly what I expected to do. So click back here. I'm going to change this back to black. And you notice that when that property is not defined, it just defaults to black, which is kind of obvious, I guess. Alright. So there you have it. This is font styling. We have put the font styling inside of the CSS code block that applies to the entire body. Therefore, it does apply to the entire body of the HTML document, which is, in this case, is what we wanted to do. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you later.